I had an idea. I was thinking maybe I could do some streams of making music, but with no money involved. Meaning like all free software, all this, all that, and then see if we can actually make production ready tunes with 100% free. I think it's possible. I have to do a little bit of research on it and stuff like that, but it could be cool.
I know a bit of a shorter Deadmau5 clip that I typically post, so I figured on this video recap to put them both in the same video. Can you really make music, or not just music, but decent music or good music with only free plugins and free VSTs? 100% yes. All my subscribers definitely know this because I have reviewed hundreds of free VST plugins on this channel. I have a link listed below in the description to a playlist of all my favorite plugins I have reviewed. And I gotta say, I think there is this thing, I remember learning this in economics, I'm a former accountant, that when people think of something having little value to it, like say there's something that costs $5, we usually think, it's probably not that good. I've heard of stories of people trying to sell their product for $5, didn't really do well. They decided to sell it for $50, and all of a sudden, people started, buying it like crazy because they're like, oh, well, if it costs $50, it must be a good product, even though nothing has changed. And likewise, when it comes to free plugins, I think a lot of times a lot of producers think, it's free. How good can it be? But I'm telling you, especially because like I said, I have reviewed hundreds of free plugins on this channel. You can easily get a free DAW, not just GarageBand, which is definitely the most famous and most notable, but you can easily download a free DAW, get all these free plugins in terms of pianos, saxophones, drums, reverb, EQing, synthesizers, the list goes on and on and on. Get all these free plugins and make a pretty decent track only using free software. And I want to say that because in this day and age, you'd be blown away of how good some of these free plugins are. I've reviewed some of these plugins on this channel that are actually better than paid counterparts I have seen on the internet. And I just wanted to do this quick PSA because I remember when I first started making music, of course, every musician out there typically doesn't have a ton of money and everything. And I remember working with one of my friends who kind of helped me get into the production world, taught me a lot. We were working on one of my songs, and he's like, I feel like you need like a touch up here. Let's get the Vox and Go MSED. And I was like, no. I was like, I can't afford plugins right now. I'm so broke. Even if it's like 10 or 20 bucks, no way. And he goes, no, it's free. And I remember when he said that, I was like, wait, it's free? And I felt like the light from the heavens dawned down on me, and I was blown away. And I remember downloading that plugin, using it. The sound quality was phenomenal. Huge shout out to Vox and Go. That plugin was kind of the light bulb or the breadcrumb that actually created the series I have on this channel called the Free VST Plugins Detective, where I review, test out, and demonstrate various free VSTs. And it's so cool that I remember using it being like, I'm blown away. Not only is it free, but it's actually like really good. It solved all my production issues at that point. It's like, in case you've never used it, it's good for like mid-side stuff, stereo width stuff, etc., etc. And it solved the issue that I was trying to figure out in terms of make my track, especially certain elements in it, have a bit more stereo width. And I was blown away. And there are so many phenomenally well-made free VST plugins out there. And I just wanted to say this because I think for a lot of musicians out there, one, I think they're like, oh, I have to spend a ton of money. I have to spend a ton of money. I have to buy this, I have to buy that. And yes, there are plugins out there that cost a lot of money, and I hate to say it, are worth it. I think the Fab filter set is an iconic example that it's really expensive. Like the Pro Q3, for example, is like 200 bucks or whatever it is. But that's a very, very good EQ, right? However, you don't have to spend that much amount of money. You could get all this for free. The second thing, though, and I think this is kind of like a human fallacy. Like I said, I learned in economics that I think sometimes we think, oh, if something's free, it has to be not that good. Or there's got to be something wrong with it, right? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Not the case in the VST world. There is a such thing as not only a free lunch, but a free VST or free plugin, and they are amazing. I just want to say this as a quick PSA. Trust me, if you're a producer out there getting into production and you're really worried about your finances, and understandably so, every musician out there when starting out is a starving musician typically. Trust me, you don't need to go crazy when it comes to money. You can get all these plugins completely for free, and you can make an unbelievable track using only free plugins.